Hey there, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of Bobby Legs Loves Watches. And today I want to share with you my experience purchasing a pre-owned watch. This one in particular, this Jaeger and Benzinger Vintage Edition. And 3 things you should know before you buy a pre-owned watch. And really, the video could have been titled 5 things you should know, or 7 things, or 20 things you should know before you buy a pre-owned watch. But there's 3 things that I want to highlight to you in this video, and I will point them out and list them out as I go along with the story. So I figure I'll just tell the story about this watch. So about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, I noticed this watch for sale on watchbuys.com, and I really was attracted to Jaeger and Benzinger, this watch, and some of the other models in their lineup. Now, some of the other models that they had were a little bit bigger, 42 millimeter case diameter, and the lug to lug was pretty long, around 52, 53 for me. I have 6 and 3/4 inch wrists. And actually about 1.5 years ago, I was able to try them on at a Watch Buys Rose show in New York City, and just determined that those models were just a little bit too big for me, even though I thought they were beautiful. But this one in particular, always remained in the picture for me because of its size. It's a 38 millimeter case diameter, and it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous watch. And you can tell that the watchmaker was heavily influenced by Breguet here, because there's a lot of stylistic cues taken from Breguet. But anyway, so this watch was on my radar. I was kind of getting into recently some of the more handmade, or mostly handmade watches, German watches in particular. But I've noticed that they were starting to get out of my price range. Kadoki was getting more and more expensive. So was Dorn Bluth and Zone. But this watch was still pretty reasonable. And Watch Buys late last year in 2020 had it listed for around $3,800. But I noticed it was going up. They raised the prices. It was $4,300, and it was because of some euro to dollar exchange. It was more favorable for the euro, so that's why the price is going up. At least that was what the guys from Watch Buys explained to me. So I was searching, outside of the U.S. To maybe purchase this watch. Now, supposedly there was only 40 made because J&B, they sourced this FHF 96 movement. It's an new old stock, no longer made, by the hand wound. Really, really awesome movement. And so I reached out to a couple of dealers around the world, and they wouldn't sell to me because Watch Buys had the exclusive rights here in distributing in the States. So I was, kind of like, set back a little bit. I felt like I could have gotten a better deal overseas somehow. But anyway, so I just was resigned to maybe not being able to pick one of these up. But it was kind of serendipitous. I just checked WatchUseek, and these things never go for sale. I mean, there's not that many made. And sure enough, that there was one for sale, not too far away from me too. And I was just blown away. I just I can't believe, what are the chances? So eventually I reached out to the seller. So the first thing that you should know when you're buying a pre-owned watch is you should try to do the best that you can to know the seller, or check them out, their background in regards to sales that they've made in the past and whatnot, feedback. Look, it's impossible to know somebody 100% unless you know them personally, right? So it's always going to be a chance, but there's things you can do. You can ask for feedback or check for feedback, especially if they've sold on sites like WatchUseek. This particular seller is pretty active on Instagram, and I was actually following him, and I didn't even realize it. And he had quite an exquisite collection, and he treated his watches right. So I knew that I kind of could trust this guy. And so he was looking for a wire payment. I did not feel comfortable sending wire because I didn't feel like I was as protected. He initially didn't want to do PayPal, and then we came to some sort of agreement. I explained to him that I had a friend who had a bad experience with wires, and I wasn't really interested in doing that. And plus, I have a channel, and not that that means anything, but look, if a sale goes bad and I rip you off, you can always go on social media and kind of just like tank my channel and my social presence, social networking presence. So I think he felt comfortable with that, and he took a chance, and I sent him the wire. Now, his ad only had a couple of pictures. I don't know. I was so excited about the watch that I didn't ask him to send other pictures. And so right before he shipped out the watch, he sent me about a dozen pictures. And, the pictures look great. He showed me a picture of the case back. He didn't show me a picture of front. He showed me wrapped with bubble wrap, as if he was about to pack. And I thought for a second that was strange, but I didn't really think anything of it. So that's another thing that, number two, try to get as many pictures as you can from the seller to make a determination, because that would help for sure. And so why I bring this up now is when I got the watch, I was so excited. I put it on. I did a unboxing video, and I can't really see in great detail while I'm filming. Like the screen here that I'm looking through right now to this watch is small. But so I filmed the video, and then I showed my wife, and a minute later she was looking at it. She's like, "Huh, that's interesting," and she noticed what we thought, like right here where my finger is between the 5 and 6 o'clock, a scratch on the dial. And I just couldn't believe it. And then looking back and thinking about the pictures that the seller had sent me, and the watch, the front of the watch being bubble wrapped in a dial up picture, started kind of making a little sense, and I started going to a negative place, anyway. And so I didn't know what to do. And, I wanted the watch still. I almost for a couple of days I sat on it and I didn't say anything because I really wanted this watch. But I thought to myself, and I talked to a couple other people and my wife, and they said, no, you should reach out to the seller, And so I did. I reached out to the seller. And the seller, he said that he'd only worn the watches a couple times and he never noticed a scratch. And at first I was like, well, man, I mean, it's kind of hard not to see it, So, I was a little disappointed. And so I started, wondering, what was going on. But then he offered to give me a full refund and send it back. And he was extremely apologetic. So I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is just an honest mistake. So he did mention to me that it was still under warranty with WatchBuys. And so this is point number 3 that I think everybody should know before they buy a pre-owned watch. Now, not all watches will have warranties because maybe they're 5, 10, 15, 20 years old. But this watch had only been purchased within the last year and a half, so it was under a 2-year warranty. So that was great to know. And I reached out to WatchBuys. And they asked me a couple of questions. I sent them a couple of pictures, and they were like, "Are you sure it's not lint?" And I'm like, "I don't see how that could be lint, because it hasn't moved in the week or two that I've had it, and I've been wearing it." So WatchBuys got back to me. They said, okay, they reached out to the Joachim and Benzinger, and they said they would make me a new dial. It'll take about 3 weeks, and that I could send the watch over to RGM. And they will place the dial or install the new dial when they get it. And so I was happy with that outcome. I was okay. This is great. I'm gonna get a new dial. And the scratch is gonna be gone. And so I maintained contact with the owner. And at the end of the day, I honestly feel like I believe him. I believe that he didn't see it. No, this is at the time. Right. This is at the time I'm sending the watch over. And just because he was so apologetic, I felt bad, and the fact that he was willing to refund me and pay for the shipping back, I I came to the conclusion that he was a stand-up guy, and he has a lot of positive feedback on Watch You Seek, and I think on eBay as well. And he's a true collector enthusiast. I still follow him to this day because his collection is awesome. So fast forward, I get a call back, or an email from RGM and the watch buys, and they said it actually was lint. It was lint on the dial. That maybe possibly when the former owner sent it to me, being transferred in by FedEx, and not knowing how they handled their packages, really, that maybe something got shook up. Maybe there was lint somewhere on the watch, and then it settled there between the 5 and the 6 o'clock position. So I was relieved. I mean, of course, I was even further relieved. I mean, because that means that all they had to do was take out the watch and then send it back to me, which they did. If I was waiting to get a new dial placed in there, that kind of job, I was told it would be a 5 to 6 week turnaround. So within 2 days of getting the email saying that, hey, it's actually just lint, I have the watch back here and I got it today. And so I'm very, very happy. So in conclusion, or wrapping up, 3 things that you should know. Always know your seller, or check them out. Check out references or ask for references, feedback. A good seller would provide them to you. Number 2, get pictures. Ask for more pictures. Don't get blinded by me with happiness and glee that I finally found the watch that I was looking for pre-owned, that I didn't ask for pictures beforehand. I mean, I got him just before he shipped it out, but even beforehand, before you even make a decision or negotiate, right? And 3, always find out if it's still under warranty, and make sure you have those papers when you get it. It's not a requirement for a seller to sell you a watch that is under warranty, obviously. But if I hadn't known that it was under warranty, or if it was not under warranty, I probably would have still kept the watch because I like it, and the scratches, it is what it is. But it was good to know that it was under warranty, and I was able to get that lint, that little piece of lint out. Anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful. This is a great watch. I love it. I'm so happy it's back in the fold again. And, buying pre-owned or buying vintage can be nerve-wracking. I totally get it. Make sure you follow those 3 things that I highlighted. And there's so many other things that you should do as well, that you'll figure out in time, what you need to do to vet your seller and vet the whole process. Guys, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear if you have any stories similar to this. And I'll see you in the next episode.